What if I told you that you could eat 10 eggs every single day, or even a whole can of sardines, and still lose muscle as you get older? That's right. You might follow all the advice you hear on health podcasts or YouTube, but the painful truth is, if you don't eat the right kinds of protein, your muscles will continue to shrink year after year. And when that happens, simple things like climbing the stairs, carrying groceries, or even hugging your grandkids start to feel impossible. Most seniors make the same mistake. They eat one can of sardines or a plate of scrambled eggs and think they've done enough. But here's the harsh reality. One can of sardines only gives you about 18 grams of protein, and 10 eggs barely reach 55 to 60 grams. For someone over 60, that's still not enough to maintain muscle, let alone rebuild it. Your body needs close to 100 grams of protein every day to fight muscle loss after 60. That's not me guessing. That's based on decades of research in gerontology and muscle science. Without that threshold, your body stays in a state of breakdown, burning muscle instead of building it. And sadly, I've seen it happen to thousands of my patients who thought they were doing everything right. But here's the good news, the solution isn't complicated, it isn't expensive, and it doesn't require some fancy supplement from the drugstore. In fact, some of the most powerful foods for rebuilding muscle after 60 are sitting quietly on the shelves of your local grocery store, and many of them come in a can. Today, I'm going to reveal 4 canned foods that actually outperform sardines when it comes to muscle building, and 2 of them are plant-based, perfect if you're vegetarian. And before we're done, I'll also uncover 1 common pantry food that can quietly destroy all your hard work, cancelling out the protein you eat and accelerating muscle loss. So stay with me, because what you'll learn in the next few minutes could mean the difference between slowly losing your independence or gaining back the strength to live the life you want. You might be surprised to hear me say this, but one of the most overlooked muscle-building foods in America doesn't come from the ocean or the farm, it comes from the forest floor. I'm talking about mushrooms. Now, most people my age grew up thinking mushrooms were just a garnish on a steak or a topping on pizza. But what if I told you that mushrooms can deliver more protein per serving than sardines? And on top of that, they bring an entire toolkit of nutrients that protect your muscles in ways fish never could. Let's break it down. A typical can of sardines has about 18 grams of protein. Not bad, right? But 1 cup of cooked mushrooms can hit 12 to 15 grams on its own. Now here's the kicker. Mushrooms do this while giving you virtually zero cholesterol, very few calories and no heavy fats that clog your arteries. That means you can load up without worrying about your heart. Think about it. Protein for your muscles, potassium to keep your blood pressure steady, selenium to fight off cell damage, and B vitamins to help your body actually use that protein efficiently. And the science is clear. A study following seniors for 12 weeks tested mushroom extracts in combination with light resistance training. The results were shocking. Those who included mushrooms built 18% more muscle mass and recovered 23% faster than those who didn't. That's not just a number on a chart that's getting out of your chair without groaning. That's climbing stairs without stopping halfway. That's hugging your grandkids without your arms shaking. Now, if you've ever had a nighttime leg cramp that jolts you awake, listen closely. Mushrooms are rich in potassium, which prevents those painful spasms. They're also packed with selenium, a mineral that acts like a shield against the oxidative stress that chews up muscle tissue as we age. And don't underestimate their beta-glucans, special compounds that reduce inflammation and speed recovery after exercise, or even just a day of heavy yard work. Here's something most people don't know. In Japan, mushrooms have been celebrated not only as food, but as medicine for centuries. Samurai warriors ate mushrooms before long campaigns, swearing it gave them endurance. Labourers carried dried mushrooms to fuel them through endless days of physical work. This ancient wisdom lines up perfectly with modern science. It wasn't just superstition, it was smart nutrition. And here's the best part: you don't need to trek into the woods or shop at an expensive health store. Canned mushrooms are available in every grocery store in America. They last for months in your pantry, they cook in minutes, and they deliver the same nutrients as fresh. For a busy lifestyle, or for seniors who don't always want to prep elaborate meals, this is as convenient as it gets. Let me give you a picture of how easy this can be. Imagine your breakfast plate sauté, a cup of mushrooms in olive oil, toss in some spinach, crack 3 eggs right over the top, and stir in a 1/4 cup of cottage cheese. That's over 30 grams of high-quality protein, plus potassium, selenium, and slow-digesting casein from the cottage cheese to keep your muscles fed for hours. Now that's a meal that works as hard as you do. Or maybe it's lunchtime. Layer grilled chicken with mushrooms and chickpeas, top it off with a dollop of Greek yogurt, and you've got protein, fibre and probiotics all in one. For dinner, combine shiitake mushrooms with lean chicken breast, broccoli and brown rice for a nutrient-packed plate that fuels muscle recovery overnight while you sleep. The point is, simple mushrooms aren't just filler food, they're functional food. They help your body build, repair and protect muscle with every bite. But let me be straight with you, eating mushrooms alone won't cut it. It's like adding spark plugs without an engine. You need to combine mushrooms with a protein powerhouse that locks in those benefits and pushes your results to the next level. And that food, sitting in almost every American pantry, comes straight from the ocean. Let's talk about canned tuna. Let me ask you something. Have you ever opened a can of tuna, mixed it with a little mayo, and thought, well, this is just a quick lunch? What if I told you that same can of tuna could be one of the most powerful tools to fight muscle loss? After 60, I'm not exaggerating. When it comes to protein density, tuna leaves sardines in the dust. Here's why. A 3.5 ounce serving of canned tuna delivers a whopping 25 to 30 grams of complete protein. That's nearly 40% more protein than sardines ounce for ounce. And unlike many cheaper proteins, tuna has the full amino acid profile. That means every building block your muscle fibers need is present and ready to go. Think of it like having all the tools in your toolbox, not just a hammer and screwdriver. But tuna isn't just protein. It's loaded with vitamin B12, essential for nerve function and red blood cell production, and selenium, one of the most effective antioxidants for reducing inflammation. Here's why that matters. When you're older, your body becomes less efficient at absorbing and using protein. Selenium and B12 help your system process protein so it actually ends up in your muscles where it belongs, instead of just passing through unused. Science backs this up. In an 8-month clinical study involving 180 seniors with sarcopenia, those who ate fish like tuna at least 3 times a week gained an average of 4.1 pounds of lean muscle. Compare that to the control group, who gained barely a pound. That's not just a number, it's 3 extra pounds of strength. 3 pounds that can help you rise from a chair without struggling, carry a bag of groceries with confidence, or walk around the block without your legs giving out. And let's be honest, tuna is part of American culture. How many of us grew up eating tuna sandwiches in school lunches or packing tuna salad for a road trip? It's familiar, affordable, and easy. But when you look at it through the lens of muscle health, it becomes more than comfort food. It's longevity food. Mediterranean fishermen knew this centuries ago, preserving tuna to feed their families through long winters. They didn't have protein powders or supplements. They had tuna, and it worked. Now let me show you how practical this can be. For breakfast, fold canned tuna into scrambled eggs with spinach and mushrooms. You'll have muscle fueling plate in minutes. At lunch, mix tuna with canned white beans, chopped veggies, and a drizzle of olive oil for a protein-packed salad that also brings fibre and healthy fats. And for dinner, toss tuna with roasted zucchini, bell peppers, and onions for a warm, savoury bowl that satisfies without spiking your blood sugar. Here's something else I want you to remember. Tuna is not only protein rich, it's low in calories compared to its protein punch. That means you can reach your daily protein goal without overeating. And because it's shelf stable, you don't need to worry about rushing to the grocery store every few days. It's there when you need it. But here's the catch: tuna alone isn't enough. Think of it like owning a sports car but forgetting to put gas in the tank. You've got speed, but no power to move. To truly maximize your results, you need to pair tuna with a food that doesn't just deliver protein but supercharges your muscles with creatine, carnosine, and critical vitamins seniors often lack. That food has fueled American workers, soldiers, and even cowboys for generations. Let's talk about canned beef. Now let me tell you about a food that doesn't just give you protein, it gives you the kind of strength Americans have trusted for centuries. I'm talking about canned beef. You might think of it as old-fashioned, something your grandparents ate during hard times, but there's a reason railroad workers, cowboys, and even soldiers carried it with them. They knew it kept them strong when nothing else would, and today the science proves what they figured out through experience. A standard 3-ounce serving of canned beef delivers 25 to 28 grams of complete protein. That's nearly double what you'd get from a serving of sardines. But here's where it gets interesting. Beef doesn't just supply protein, it comes loaded with ham iron, which delivers oxygen to your working muscles so they don't fatigue as quickly. It naturally contains creatine, which athletes pay good money for in supplement form because it enhances strength and power during exercise. And it carries carnosine, a compound shown to protect against age-related muscle decline and boost endurance. This isn't theory, it's science. In a 16-week study with 120 seniors, participants who added canned beef to their diet saw 22% greater increases in lean muscle mass and 28% higher strength gains compared to those who relied on plant protein alone. That's the difference between struggling to lift a laundry basket and carrying it with ease, between needing help off the couch and standing up on your own. But here's what most older adults don't realise. Many are deficient in zinc and vitamin B12, two nutrients critical for muscle repair, nerve health and coordination. Canned beef is rich in both. Without zinc, your body struggles to heal microtears after exercise. Without B12, your energy tanks, your balance falters, and your reflexes slow down. By adding beef, you're filling gaps that could otherwise cost you your independence. And let's not ignore the history. In the late 1800s, railroad crews and cowboys relied on canned beef during cross-country journeys. It wasn't fancy, but it kept them fueled through backbreaking labour in harsh conditions. They might not have understood terms like amino acid profile or creatine content, but they knew they could swing an axe-drive spikes and ride for miles because canned beef gave them staying power. That tradition of strength is baked into every bite. Now, what about practicality today? One of my favourite breakfast options is a skillet hash. Dice potatoes until they're golden and crispy, add in canned beef with onions and peppers, and top with 2 scrambled eggs. That one plate gives you over 35 grams of protein and a steady release of energy to power your morning. For lunch, try combining canned beef with black beans, brown rice, avocado and salsa for a hearty bowl. It's satisfying, balanced and easy to prep. At dinner, simmer canned beef with mushrooms, carrots and a little bone broth for a stew that keeps feeding your muscles while you sleep. Of course, moderation matters. Some varieties of canned beef are high in sodium. If you have high blood pressure, choose low sodium options or drain and rinse before cooking. Balance it with fresh vegetables and whole grains to round out the meal. The bottom line, canned beef is more than survival food, it's muscle-preserving medicine in a can. But here's where it gets exciting, because while beef gives you power relying only on animal protein, is like playing a guitar with just 3 strings, you're missing part of the melody. To unlock the full song of muscle health, you need to pair it with a plant-based ally that brings fibre, magnesium and amino acids animal foods can't match. And that ally is sitting quietly in every American pantry: canned beans. When most people think of beans, they picture comfort food, chili simmering on the stove, baked beans at a summer barbecue, or refried beans at a Tex-Mex diner. Hardly anyone thinks of beans as muscle food. But here's the truth. Canned beans might be one of the most underrated tools for fighting muscle loss after 60. They're affordable, easy to find, and surprisingly powerful for keeping your body strong. Let's look at the numbers. 1 cup of canned black beans delivers around 15 grams of protein, while kidney beans clock in at about 13 grams per cup. That's already more than sardines. But beans go beyond protein. They bring something animal foods often lack: a package of magnesium, folate, potassium, fibre and lysine. Each of these nutrients plays a critical role in muscle health. Magnesium acts like the ignition switch for muscle contractions. Without it, your muscles misfire, leading to cramps and weakness. Folate is key for protein metabolism, making sure the protein you eat actually gets converted into muscle tissue. Potassium helps regulate fluid balance, preventing those late-night cramps that make you jump out of bed. And lysine. That's an essential amino acid your body can't make on its own, but it's absolutely necessary for building new muscle and absorbing calcium for bone strength. Science backs this up. In a 20-week study with 150 older adults, those who ate beans daily improved their muscle endurance by 16% and their recovery rate by 19% compared to seniors who followed conventional diets. That means faster bounce back after yard work, less soreness after a walk, and more energy to stay active. Beans have been fueling strength for centuries. Native Americans relied on what they called the Three Sisters corn, squash and beans to feed warriors and farmers. They noticed something remarkable. When beans were combined with grains like corn, the pairing created a complete protein profile. In modern nutrition terms, that means all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to build muscle were covered. They didn't use the word anabolic resistance, but they knew this food combination kept their communities strong through long winters and demanding battles. And here's where beans shine today. They're canned, pre-cooked and ready in minutes. Just rinse them under water to cut sodium and you've got instant muscle fuel. Picture this: breakfast saute mushrooms until golden, add canned beans, and scrambled eggs, sprinkle some shredded cheese, and you've got a hearty plate with over 25 grams of protein. For lunch, toss beans with canned tuna, chopped vegetables, olive oil and lemon juice, a Mediterranean-inspired salad that's both satisfying and easy on digestion. And for dinner, simmer canned beans with canned beef, tomatoes, onions and warming spices for a stew that releases protein slowly through the night while your body repairs itself. Here's another overlooked benefit. Beans come with resistant starch and fibre, which feed the healthy bacteria in your gut. And why does that matter? Because a healthy gut improves nutrient absorption, reduces inflammation, and even influences muscle recovery. Think of it like upgrading the soil before you plant. Your body can grow stronger when the foundation is solid. And let's not forget cost. A single can of beans costs less than $1 in most grocery stores. That's pennies per gram of protein. Compare that to expensive powders or supplements, and the choice becomes obvious. For seniors living on a budget, beans are not just nutritious, they're practical. But before you rush to fill your pantry with beans, there's something you need to know. Because even if you eat mushrooms, tuna, beef and beans every single day, you could still sabotage your progress completely if you pair them with one specific food. It's cheap, it's convenient, and it's hiding in millions of American kitchens right now. And for seniors trying to preserve muscle, it's nothing short of toxic. Let's talk about instant noodles. Now here's the part that might shock you the most. You could eat mushrooms, tuna, beef and beans every single day and still watch your muscles shrink if you make one mistake, and that mistake is pairing your protein with instant noodles. I know what you're thinking. Come on, Doc, they're just noodles. How bad can they be? But the truth is, instant noodles are one of the worst foods you can eat if you're trying to fight muscle loss. And it's not just because they're low in nutrients, it's because of how they interact with protein. Instant noodles have a glycemic index as high as white bread. That means they spike your blood sugar fast. When you eat them alongside protein, your body's insulin response goes haywire. Instead of shuttling amino acids into your muscle cells, it locks the door. The protein you just ate can't get absorbed where it's needed most. In fact, a 10-week study showed that seniors who ate high glycemic foods like instant noodles with their protein had 35% lower muscle protein synthesis than those who avoided them. And it gets worse. The refined flour, the flash-fried oils, the preservatives, they all combine with the sodium already present in canned foods to create toxic compounds called AGEs, or advanced glycation end products. These compounds don't just slow growth, they actively accelerate muscle breakdown, damage your joints and trigger chronic inflammation. Let me give you a real example. Paul, a 72-year-old patient of mine, thought he was eating healthy. 3 times a week, he made instant noodles and topped them with tuna and mushrooms. On paper, it looked like plenty of protein, but his muscle mass kept dropping, his joints stiffened, and he complained of constant fatigue. The fix was simple. We cut the noodles and swapped in quinoa and brown rice. 4 weeks later, Paul gained nearly 2 pounds of lean muscle, his energy bounced back, and his inflammation markers dropped by more than half. The lesson is simple. Instant noodles are not harmless. For older adults, they're a silent muscle killer. If you want your protein to actually work, avoid them completely. Choose whole grains like quinoa, brown rice, or whole wheat pasta instead. And here's where things come together. Because once you know which foods to add and which foods to avoid, you've unlocked the foundation of muscle nutrition after 60. But we're not done yet. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to share an ancient nutritional secret that has nothing to do with protein powders, supplements, or complicated diets, yet it can boost muscle protein synthesis by 34% without a single workout. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So let's bring this all together. We started with a simple but scary truth: eating sardines, or even 10 eggs a day, isn't enough to protect your muscles after 60. You need more than just protein, you need the right protein sources. And today, we uncovered 4 powerful canned foods that deliver exactly that. First, mushrooms. They may look humble, but they offer protein plus antioxidants, potassium, and compounds that protect your muscles from inflammation. Then tuna, the ocean's protein titan, providing more protein per ounce than sardines, and proven to add pounds of lean mass in clinical studies. After that, we looked at canned beef, the old school strength food that gives you not just protein, but creatine, carnosine, and the critical nutrients zinc and B12. And finally, beans, the underdog that pairs plant protein with fiber, magnesium, and lysine, building endurance and recovery like few foods can. But just as important as what to add is what to avoid, because instant noodles, as comforting as they seem, can sabotage all your progress. They spike your blood sugar block, amino acid absorption, and generate toxic compounds that accelerate muscle loss. For seniors fighting to stay strong and independent, instant noodles are not harmless, they're harmful. Now I want you to pause and imagine this. What would your life look like with 3 or 4 extra pounds of muscle? Maybe it means getting out of a chair without struggling. Maybe it means walking the grocery aisles without leaning on the cart. Or maybe it means picking up your grandchild and holding them high without your arms trembling. That kind of strength is not a luxury, it's your right. And the good news is it's within reach, starting with the simple foods we talked about today. So here's my challenge for you. Look in your pantry tonight. Do you have mushrooms, tuna beef, or beans on your shelf? And do you also see that pack of instant noodles hiding in the corner? Which one will you reach for tomorrow morning? I want you to drop a comment below and tell me which of these foods are you already eating, and which one are you excited to try. First, I read every single one, and I'd love to hear your story. If you're serious about protecting your muscles, I've created a 30-day meal plan with over 90 high-protein recipes built around these exact foods. Each meal is designed to hit at least 20 grams of protein, avoid the hidden food traps, and fit easily into your lifestyle. You'll find the link in the pinned comment and the description. And one more thing, tomorrow's video will reveal something even more powerful. An ancient nutritional secret proven in modern studies that boosts muscle protein synthesis by 34% without a single workout. No powders, no gimmicks, no complicated recipes, just a method that's been hiding in plain sight. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. So hit that subscribe button right now, turn on notifications, and save this video to come back to. Because your future strength, your independence, and your energy depend on what you choose to eat starting today.